Hello everyone, it's Rachel and welcome back to Book and Bloom. I have Tabitha with me today and I'm going to be sharing what I read in August. So I read 5 books in August and I'm going to be sharing my thoughts. I have quite a variety. The first book that I read in August was Supernova by Marissa Meyer. This is the third and final book in the Renegades trilogy. This is definitely an epic conclusion to the trilogy. I love this series. It's just, I think I've said it like a million times when talking about this series as a whole. It's just the right amount of cheesiness. Like, it's just about superheroes and dystopian society. Love the characters. It's just very fun. It's very lighthearted, but there's also great depth to it. And the third book is definitely a great conclusion to the series. Overall, I definitely recommend this series. 4 stars? Yeah, because I don't think it's perfect by any means, but I definitely think it's a very fun and just entertaining, exciting series, and I definitely recommend it to anyone who loves superheroes and sci-fi and dystopian books. It was definitely really fun to reread. I definitely recommend it because it's Marissa Meyer. I love her. She's awesome. I think it definitely brings up some interesting topics. It kind of talks about morality, and it's not all black and white. Somebody who disagrees with you, somebody who's on the other side, you might actually have more in common than you think you do, and it's not just like us and them, you know, everyone's human and there can be good people on the bad side as well as there can be bad people on the good side. I really liked that topic. Yeah, I mean, I love the characters. The ending is a little bit ambiguous. I'm not saying like the end, like I feel like the end ties everything up. It's the prologue that I think is a little bit ambiguous and a little bit like, I don't know, maybe she was planning on writing more in this series and kind of focusing on this character, this particular character that's in the prologue. I don't know. I kind of wish that those things related to that character were tied up a little bit better because it's just a little bit disappointing. That one little small kind of subplot I wish was tied up a little bit better. Other than that, I love this series and yeah, highly recommend it. So next up, I read kind of an odd choice for me, just kind of randomly picked up All Systems Red. It's the first book in the Murderbot series. This series, from what I know, it just follows this character called Murderbot, and it's a cyborg or maybe an android character that looks human. Usually this bot is designed to be a security bot. Because of the government, people are required to have these security bots with them when they travel, when they explore, or things like that, I believe. And so that's the reason why Murderbot is on this expedition. Murderbot is weird because their governor's module, I think it's what it's called, is basically the thing that, you know, tells it what to do, how to feel, makes it a robot, is messed up. This bot just does whatever it wants. It usually doesn't want to do its job and wants to just watch TV. And it just has a very fun personality, just hilarious, but also very action-packed and very interesting book because, and I imagine the whole series follows kind of similar concepts of just what it means to be human. I just listened to it as an audiobook and it was so short, I think I was able to just listen to it in one sitting. It was an enjoyable adventure and I definitely liked the characters. It was interesting, some of the concepts that were in the future and some of the technology and ideas of just how society would be. Definitely recommend to anyone who enjoys sci-fi and enjoys funny characters with really funny banter. This book has that. And so I gave this book 4 stars because it didn't necessarily blow me away. Like, I enjoyed the character and I feel like I would pick up the rest of the series maybe, but I'm not like dying to read it, so I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like a 5-star read for me. But a lot of people really love this series, so definitely check it out if you're interested in some of those story elements that I talked about. And next up, completely taking a 180, we have Bloomsbury Girls, which is a historical fiction book by Natalie Jenner, and she's the author who wrote the Jane Austen Society. This is the sequel, but not really. Some of the characters from the first book are in it. It's a little bit different. There's new characters and it's kind of focused on a new place. So the first book, of course, was all about, you know, establishing the Jane Austen Society, and then in this book, one of the characters from that book is looking for a job after school and finds a job at this bookstore called Bloomsbury Books. There she meets some fun characters. There's several points of view, and that's one thing that I noticed about Natalie Jenner, is that she definitely really likes having lots of points of view and kind of following different characters. I think she did a lot better in this book of making it more clear who you were with, who you were following, because I think that's one thing in the Jane Austen Society. It's like you think that you're following this character, but then it feels like you're kind of jumping around a lot, and you kind of end up feeling like you're just kind of an observer of everyone, and you're not quite in the character's shoes. So it was a little bit weird of an experience reading that book. I mean, I still really liked that, really enjoyed that book, the story of it, but I just think the way she wrote it was a little bit jarring at times. I think she learned from that maybe and decided to make it a little bit more clear who you're following, and I think that element really helps because you just feel like you're a part of the story instead of just watching the story unfold. As I said, this is about a bookstore, Bloomsbury Books. There's 3 women. 2 of them are already working there when Evie from Jane Austen Society, she comes to work there, and she's on a mission to find this rare book that she believes is like really special, is kind of overlooked, maybe more important than people really realize, because of all of its contents and who wrote it and all the history behind the book. So she's on a mission to find this book. It's just kind of cozy. I mean, there's drama going on, there's relationship problems because all of the girls are interested in different people. There's also kind of a storyline of just the women really want to buy the bookstore from the owner and have it completely run by women. There's kind of this battle going on with certain people want to buy all of the shares of the bookstore, and these women want to do that too, but they don't really have the finances to be able to do that, and then having to like work everything around and figure out how they're going to achieve that, and buy the bookstore and be able to own it and run things the way that they wish that they could. But yeah, for a time they get a little bit of like authority and leadership opportunities. It does really well for the bookstore, and a lot of people really get excited about the bookstore and, you know, notice it a lot more, and so that gives them hope that if they really did own it themselves, that the bookstore would do a whole lot better in their leadership than in the current leadership. They see the potential in the store and see how if they made changes and if they actually showed, you know, new ideas, new books, new concepts and brought them to the bookstore would do a whole lot better and reach a whole lot more people than what it is right now. So lots of fun elements. Of course, there's romance, there's drama. Yeah, I loved this book. And if you like historical fiction with romance in it and a little bit of girl power, then this is definitely the book for you. I gave this book a 4-star rating. I would say it's probably like a 4.5 for me. I really liked it. I think I like Jane Austen's the Jane Austen Society even more, because there was a few things in this book that I just think could have been stronger overall, but I still really loved it and I highly recommend it to anyone who likes historical fiction and all those story elements that I just said. So moving on, the next book that I read in August was Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I loved this book. I think I definitely liked this book better than Order of the Phoenix, because it's still like, even though Hogwarts is changing and the storyline is starting to get darker and more serious, and there's definitely a lot more sad elements because now Sirius isn't here and you guys are familiar with the series and what happens, and this is also a sad book. Despite all of that, I still think that there was a lot of fun elements in this book that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the movie, and unfortunately I do think that watching the movies before I read the books kind of messed me up and kind of made me have a bias before I even read the books. Like, you know, I just kind of went into Order of the Phoenix thinking I wasn't gonna like it that much, and I just don't like it as much as the other books. Because I knew some of the things that was gonna happen in this book, I had a feeling that I wasn't gonna like it as much as like some of the earlier books. You know, I thought I was still gonna like it more than Order of the Phoenix, and it's like I did, but I'm not sure if I like made myself feel that way, you know, because I had that bias going in. I just think the element of the journal was really fun, and I mean, of course I knew who it was, but it's just, I don't know, this book is crazy. Just, it's so dramatic. All the things that happen in it are just so crazy that I just couldn't help but just be so entertained by this book. Even though Hogwarts is like not as cozy anymore, and like the themes of these books are getting more serious and dark and kind of sad, the story is also getting more interesting, and there was still, you know, enough fun shenanigans that happened that I think made up for kind of the elements of Harry Potter that I miss. Like, I definitely miss the coziness of Hogwarts and some of the characters, of course, but some new elements, some interesting elements that were brought up in this book, and so I really enjoyed that. So I give this book a 5-star. I'm trying to figure out rating because I don't want to just give 5 stars out to absolutely everything, but I also don't want to be, you know, too harsh. But yeah, I mean, I do think that these deserve, you know, high ratings. I think that despite what you think, these are really well written, wonderful storyline. Of course, they're not perfect stories, but there is not a perfect story out there, and so I think that what J.K. Rowling did create is so impressive and so inspiring. You know, she has influenced and inspired so many people through her books, and that alone just makes me have a positive bias towards them, and I'm not going to take that away because I have so much fun reading these books and watching the movies and playing Hogwarts Legacy, and so I'm having a great time. The last book that I read this month was The Summer I Turned Pretty. Even though I was back to school, I really wanted to pick up one final summer read because it still feels like summer outside because it's like 1,000,000 degrees still. I wanted to keep the summer vibes just a little bit longer so that the stress of school and all the overwhelmingness hopefully wouldn't be so bad, because I would still have something fun and lighthearted to kind of get my mind off of the chaos that was looming over. And this book was the perfect book for that because it's just fun, it's lighthearted. Well, I say it's lighthearted. It definitely brings up some heavy topics while also maintaining its summery, sunshiny feel to it when you're reading it, because it's a teen romance, it's a love triangle, it's the older brother and the younger brother. Yeah, the whole time she's just kind of trying to fight her feelings for the older brother. There's lots of flashbacks to previous summers, and I thought that element was really fun. It added more depth to what was going on because you had that flashback to what happened in the past. You see how they've changed, how they've grown, and how things are different now. I don't think I liked it quite as much as To All the Boys I've Loved Before. The other series by Jenny Han, she wrote To All the Boys I've Loved Before, and I love that series. I think that series is really cute. This one's really fun too. I definitely would like to pick up the other 2 books in the trilogy eventually, because it's no longer summer and I'm starting to kind of want to get into fall vibes. It probably will be a while until I pick those up. So if that gives you some perspective, I know some people are very passionate about these books and absolutely love them. I did really like it. It was definitely a fun read, but I'm not like dying to read the next book. So don't attack me, don't fight me. So yeah, I gave this a 4-star. Those are the books, the 5 books that I read in August. I'd love to hear what you guys read in August and your thoughts on any of these books if you've read them yourself. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and read a book and bloom on.